Liverpool are scary, and they are going to dominate for the next couple of years if they land one more piece of the jigsaw. Alexander Isak. People, what a transfer window it has been from Liverpool. Probably the best transfer window, I would say, since probably 2018, when we brought in your Alissons, your Van Dijks, your Fabinhos, your Shakiris, your Navigators, all within that 2018, from January to the summer. That, for me, was game-changing. I was like, this could take some beating, because ultimately Alisson and Van Dijk changed the whole team, from mentally, and improved us massively. They took us from being a top four, maybe you could get to the odd couple of finals, to taking us to a Champions League, a Premier League, and that's what they did. And the signings that we've made this summer are going to take us from becoming not just champions, but back to back. You see where I'm going with this? Potentially doing a double, a treble. We are in an absolute pivotal moment. If we get this striker position correct and we execute, I don't see anyone beating us next season. Because the way I look at it is right. You talk about Manchester City, for example. I know a lot of people are still seeing. I saw someone say Man City are favourites. How are Manchester City favourites? Please. This time, okay, Ryan Cherky, cool. Florian Wirtz is better off the base of that. They signed Reinders, good signing, and Aït-Nouri. So you're telling me Aït-Nouri and Reinders take Man City to becoming favourites? No, Man City still need one or two more wingers. They can't just rely on Erling Haaland to score goals. They can't just rely on Ruben Diaz to stay fit, John Stones to stay fit. They need to go and get a centre-back or two. They need to go and get a right-back. They still need a lot of business. Liverpool just need a striker. And if they get a striker that will score 20 goals, they are going to win the Premier League again. And especially if it's Alexander Isak, Lord help. But let's dive into the Liverpool signings though. Jeremy Frimpong, first signing of the summer. Very good signing. Liverpool have liked him for years. The thing is, I know a lot of people have said, oh, he's nothing like Trent though. Okay. The thing is with Jeremy Frimpong, he's actually going to help us a lot more than you think. He's going to be able to help do the running power, the pace and power for Mohamed Salah, so we can get him closer to goals. So I actually think Salah's numbers will actually get better next season, because I think he's actually going to play closer to goal than he did before, because Frimpong will do that role around that right-hand side. Frimpong is just a very good all-round signing. You can't go wrong. He's going to cost us £7 million a year. Like, that is genuinely peanuts. I think that is a signing where you genuinely just can't win. Good signing. Then you move on to Milos Kerkez, one of the best Premier League left backs last season. You could arguably say the best. You could arguably say the best up and coming left back in the Premier League right now, and genuinely one of the world, because this guy is a talent. He has got shades of Andy Robertson, the regen of Andrew Robertson, and I think he's going to be quality. There is concerns, because if we do sell the Robertsons this world, then we haven't got the experience at the left back hole, because Kerkez is, he's still 21 years old. He is going to make mistakes. This is a normal thing that was going to happen. But Milos Kerkez is an absolute quality signing, because that was one of the areas on the pitch where we struggled most defensively and going forward. Unbelievable signing from Liverpool. 40 million quid. You genuinely cannot go wrong. And I think Manchester City paid around nearly 40 million for Aït-Nouri. And I know which one I prefer and which one I think is better. Then you move on to the big dog, Mr. Florian Wirtz. He is announced. And my God, I cannot wait. People, this is a game changer. Game changer. Alisson and Van Dijk are game changers. Wirtz is in that bracket. We have never, maybe the last time Liverpool signed a 22-year-old superstar. that was genuinely arguably the best 10 in the world over the past 2 years. Him and Musiala, you take your pick. Cool. This is an unbelievable signing. He would take us to that next level. I actually think he's the long-term Salah replacement in terms of the whole team based to being around him. He's the best player in the team, just like Salah was, etc. You see where I'm going with this? That's what I actually think. That you actually can replace your best players, not with like for likes, but in just different positions and build the team around that, and it still works. That is what I think Liverpool are doing with Florian. But then you talk about Alexander Isak, you know, God, if we sign Isak, there is possibilities. I think it would heavily depend on Isak. Isak would have to help push for the move himself. He can't just be like Liverpool say, look, do you want to come? And he's just like, yeah. He's going to have to do a bit of work himself to get that fee down, to get Newcastle to be willing to accept. Do you know what I mean? Because I actually think if we offered him the money, Newcastle wouldn't actually accept. I think they would go to Isak first. If they see Isak says, I'm happy to stay, I'll stay, they'll decline the bid. If he says, oh, I kind of want to go, I'll go, he'll go. And let me know. Will Isak happen? We'll have to wait and see. People, though, the one thing I'm most excited for next season is Arne Slot. Because this guy has shown he's one of the best tactical managers in the world football. Not only with the way he sets up, but tactically. So many times last season, people talk about Mo Salah winning this league. Mo Salah's obviously by far the best player in the Premier League. But Arne Slot won this Premier League. There were so many times where we were terrible, literally from 1 or 2 game tactics, switched up and we got the 3 points. This guy, I'm so excited to see what he can do with his own players. Like what is he going to do with him? Frimpong, potentially Kirkes, and in that striker area. Arne Slot deserves massive amounts of credit still. And this is where I'm really excited because I want to see if he can take us to that next level, take us to a Champions League final, get us over the line in that competition. Can he become the first Liverpool manager to maybe win a treble, a double? Because this team is actually capable. It genuinely is capable. And I don't think that's anything wild to say, because if we sign a striker that is of quality, you're telling me there's not a chance that we actually don't win the Premier League title alongside with a couple of cups and stuff like that. But people, make sure you're smashing that like button and you're subscribing to the channel, because I'm telling you now, Liverpool are building a dynasty next season and they're here to dominate.